because we're going to have Give You Anxiety versus Barbecue Man 666. That name tells me that I was summoned to this game. That's what happens when you type those 3 numbers in. For those that aren't aware, Barbecue Man is, in fact, DeMuslim. So let's get underway with King of the Hill. Here we go, guys. Give You Anxiety in the blue playing as France versus Barbecue Man in the red playing as England. And can I just say, mwah, 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 magnifico. This is the color coordination, all right? If you're going to have an England versus France matchup, this is how you do it, guys. England should be red. France should be blue. This should be specifically coded into the game, all right? Relic, if you find this, well, it's whoever is in charge of this decision, all right? Can we just get our crap together on the design side? I don't care about new unit types. I don't care about pew-pew ponies being balanced. All I care about is that the color coordination is correct, okay? This is like wearing purple with yellow. You just don't do it. Or at least if you're a pale white man, you don't do it. I should never do it. Okay, I'm going to try it sometime, actually. Purple plus yellow kind of sounds cool. Actually, it sounds really cool. Why did I say purple and yellow? Purple and green. Purple and greens. Yes, I shouldn't wear purple and green. Purple and yellow, I'm definitely going to try, guys. That just sounds too good. Sounds very kind of regally HRE. But let's stop talking about that. If you want regal, it's got to be the blue and yellow. As we are going to have France on England here on King of the Hill. This should be interesting because this is just kind of like returning to the first days of Age of Empires. Remember when the first came? Just let me get my rocking chair, get my little pipe out. I remember when Age of Empires 4 first came out. And you be England, you be France, and then things would look good as England up until about 8 minutes. And then you type frickin' noob in the chat as you got charged and killed off by the knights. And then you'd build spearmen. They'd build archers. And you'd tell their mother to burn in hell and leave the game. And that was pretty much the old days, guys. I hope Grandpa Pigeon explained it very well to you guys. That was more or less the meta opening with this matchup, right? It was always actually going the way of France. It was incredibly rare that we would ever see England take a win. But things have changed. People have kind of adapted. They've found different ways to utilize England. And let's also keep in mind that the French Royal Knights are not the dominant force they once were, courtesy of the buffs to spearmen and their counters in crossbowmen as well. So it might be that we come to a later phase, which always intrigues me because I've never seemed to get to see it to the full extent, which is going to be Lombos versus Arbaletriers. The reason why I'd love to see that is that Arbaletriers have this unique ability that we rarely see utilized well, and it's the Pavlis, I believe it's called. Basically, it's a shield that they plop in the ground. As long as they stand still, they get +5 ranged armor, which is incredible against longbows. It basically halves their damage. And I'd love to see that come into play in the mid-game, but we'll jump the gun. We've got to get through the early game first. So opening-wise, it's going to be standardized. School of Cavalry on one side. It's going to be Council Hall the other. I do expect Give You Anxiety to play into the Pro Scouts, just because England won't. So it's just exploitable value, right? You're definitely going to get your load of deer. You'll probably get your opponents as well. You could opt for pocket economies. That is very popular for France. I would rear on the side of caution, just being up against England, because these days, with a small skirmishing group of Lombos, they could pick you apart of their superior range on those pocket economies. For those wondering what a pocket economy is, that's where you basically move out into a small space away from your main base, and you have an economy running there, a.k.a. if you built a mill here at the deer location or a wood line over here, and that was it, that would be a pocket economy. If you extended from your main base, that's just your base. It's very different. And the reason why I mentioned France doing this is because ever since the earliest days, when they were dictating the flow of early mid-game with their French Knights, it allowed them a lot of wiggle room, right? Where other civs would maybe place a bunch of outposts around to have someone to garrison the villages that they were exposed, or have a keep down in the central gold veins. France was always that civ that just didn't care, all right? They were c'est la vie. I mean, there's a reason that word exists. And there's a reason it fits. They were just able to move out because they were always dictating flow. They were the tempo setters. And that's why I always find this matchup to be intriguing, because with those changes, with the rebalancing of cavalry, this is two civs that rely heavily on tempo in the early mid-game a lot. That's not to say there isn't TC booming potential, and we have seen both France and England utilize that. One due to the scalable economy, the savings on the economy side of research early, and also the quicker generation speed of villagers. And then on the other side with England, it's due to the fact that you build into the TC as your landmark, right, with the King's Palace. It gives that little bit of wiggle room, that little bit of flexibility. And we'll have to see if that does get utilized in an interesting way. By the way, just to re-clarify for those that maybe came in midway here, this is DeMuslim. Barbecue Man is DeMuslim. And if you're wondering where DeMuslim is ranked right now, DeMuslim is sitting in first place on the leaderboards at the time of recording. 2018 ELO rating, 811 games played. Good lordy. And now he's started up a smurf. And he's trying to start a barbecue. Give you anxiety on the other hand. Has been slipping and sliding. 975 games played, and he's in 187th place right now. He's not having a good time of it. I've been seeing him play a lot of France right now, and I definitely think if you just want to dominate the top of the leaderboards, that maybe isn't the way to slide into there. At the same time, I wouldn't advise just cheesing one civ to get to the top, because when you need flexibility, you're going to be screwed. Here come the early knights. GUA moving in already. A lot of arrows come on the way. I like the way that the villagers are being utilized. A lot of players don't do this as a mistake. You should always be using your villagers when you get assaulted like that. Remember that the unique thing that you have as England that no other civ has is the ability to fire arrows off with your villies. Although it's only 1 damage per shot, in that quantity against early knights, it can offset them. And I like that he went for this Rax as well. Understands that he's not going to set the tempo yet. He needs to defend himself. He needs to set up a kind of array of defenses, and then he can maybe push out. Because the other problem you have is if this was a choke point type map, this is like, you know, the Mountain Pass, should we say, is a perfect example. Hill and Dale. It's a lot easier as England to maybe try and actually get involved in that early mid-game aggression, hold choke points, and push your opponent. But in such an open map, like King of the Hill, where your whole base is open ground around it, England is going to be on the defensive hard. And he's definitely on the defensive so far. 2 villages now almost dead. No research into textiles yet. Wonder if that'll change. DeMuslim is one of those people that likes to reflect upon like the value of these different researchers a lot more than, say, you know, his comparative players. I think one big thing I've noticed out of him is he's an incredibly big fan of wheelbarrow tech. He rates it much, much higher than a lot of other players I've seen. And, well, it's net results from being #1 in the world right now. And I have to agree that I think a lot of players neglect to pick up wheelbarrows, and there's no real justifiable reason behind it. Mill has not been built yet, but... Oh, it has. I was about to say, where the hell's the mill? Like, he's literally got scouts sitting here like they've got a job to do. So Pro Scouts is being researched. No mill expansion onto the berry bush yet. You've still got sheep to work with. Remember, you gather from them quicker. He could have went out to the berries and then fallen back to the sheep afterwards as a safer option. But I think with Spearman already being built, you shouldn't be that paranoid or defensive as England. So I like that he's actually just optimizing his food gathering speed at the moment. His goal is to try and pull away from feudal as quickly as possible and just look for that King's Palace drop. And it'll probably be over to the east here, where we'll be able to protect this expansion into the berry bush lines. He'll set up a nice, easily defendable farmland area in the back here. And also, he'll get access to these new tree lines. That's one big detail you have to look for. If you want to understand what your opponent's likely to play towards in King of the Hill, just look at the wood lines. Wood lines usually dictate the flow. People try to connect the wood lines quite often to their main base because they tend to be very expansive. There tends to be a lot of units on them. And also, they're very unpredictable, right? Like, as you expand into a wood line, if you leave your villagers on auto behavior, they might spread more and more. So you always want to have them close to your base so that it's better protected, right? And that's why usually, whenever you watch these King of the Hill games, wherever the tree lines are most saturated is where that player moves. So I expect DeMuslim to be moving to the east. GUA, I think he might end up moving to the east. I know there's more of the west here, but this one looks so scarce compared to this giant, plump, juicy tree line. And also it's in a choke point, so it's a little bit easier to defend. And that could lead to this kind of natural flow in towards each other on the east side. But I don't necessarily see that game going, this game going that late. But it might open up an exploitable detail on GUA's side, where if DeMuslim plays from the center area, he could actually snipe into your wood economy with long bows. Speaking of bows, look at this, guys. It's almost like it's turning into the classic England-France game we talked about. Or, sorry, no, I didn't talk about, did I? Grandpa Pigeon talked about a little bit earlier in the video, right? You start knights, you force spearmen, then you respond with archers. And although longbowmen are superior one-on-one, when you gap close, it becomes a problem, right? Remember that longbowmen cost more than the archers, and also the archers can chase you down with 1.25 movement speed compared to that 1.12. And looks like DeMuslim is shuffling on out. I think vision-wise, yeah, he's scouted practically the whole map. He doesn't know how big this tree line is. I think that's why he's looking to the left. But as I said, I expect him to be going east. Whoop. Knights moving in. Oh, he sees the weak ones as well. GUA comes back in to finish what he started. He gets the second one as well. All right. That knight is a damn hero. And remember that GUA already has an eco advantage, right? You're playing as France. You produce these villages every 17 seconds in the feudal age. England are being outpaced. And you don't get great economical benefits early on as England, right? Like, once you switch into farms halfway through castle, that's when you start to boom on the food front. That can feel good. And remember that it's cheaper to switch into farms for you, being 50% discounted at 37 wood each. But for the moment, GUA has a very long bridge to walk where he's safe, right? Before he gets to that challenge point, before he's hopping between glass panes, hoping they don't break underneath his feet. Shout out if you get that reference. It shouldn't be a hard one in today's culture. But the point is that GUA is very content to just drag this out for quite a while, build up an army, look towards Castle Age, because he is going to have all these deer to extract. His economy is being boosted there. Also, keep in mind that France have more efficient research economy. They're all cheaper. You can see he's going to wheelbarrows now, and they cost less, 35 wood, 105 gold compared to the 50 wood and 150 gold that it should be. And then, of course, they also get their military techs for free on the melee side, right? And all these details do add up. It does become a little bit problematic. Not to mention the fact that GUA can very easily, with this additional villager advantage, he could scale into a second TC to match you when you hit castle yourself. And it looks like DeMuslim is nowhere near castle. He has moved across that wood line we talked about, so he's beginning that expansion towards the right. He has moved out. He's made a pocket economy himself. This is pretty cool, actually. He gets away with this because he has so many troops out in the field right now. He's going to be able to strip away extra deer from GUA. And this is only made possible because he has so many troops already produced. This wouldn't be done if you had like 10 longbowmen max, because you'd be too paranoid that a few knights would kill all these villages because they're so far away from safety. However, he's going to have bigger problems. His dreams of winning this might be killed quickly at this rate. GUA on his way up with the guild hall now. And DeMuslim still nowhere near ready. Is palisading over here? Interesting choice. I'm wondering what the grand scheme behind this is. There's just so much open ground. You're kind of frustrated if you're DeMuslim, actually. You kind of wish that you had another kind of stone wall here, or not stone wall, cliff, right? So you could easily wall these off and hold some nice choke points around this area, but it's so open of a ground. It looks like he's just trying to create an expansion pocket further east after he's done with this wood line, so you can basically run him around the back here and continue to work here in safety. And that is a pretty cool idea. Really just thinking 5 minutes plus ahead of time and prepping the defenses down. And I think it's because he knows he's going to come under pressure. He's about to get the bad news that GUA is up at castle, and DeMuslim is still nowhere near ready. My problem with what he's doing here is, like, he's not prepping for an assault. He's building troops, but they're defensive. They're not halfway across the map. If they were already central, this is a cool play, because it means that GUA hits castle, and then he's exposed, and you can try to rush him. But now, GUA has all the room in the world. It kind of feels like it's his game to throw. And if there is going to be a throw point for him, economy exposure is definitely going to be after this wood line. Once this is done, if he goes to the big wood line in the center, that's where I think he gets contested. If he plays over to the left, he's probably safe. We'll see what he chooses to do if we go that far, though. Oh, Scout's trying to move in. Really frustrating to do against England. You can see the problem, right? He's trying to run off with the goodies, but England's like, no. Those are our goodies, dude. You cannot leave. What? Oh my, the spite. The actual spite. I can't believe he done that. I mean, it's because GUA knows he's not getting out with the carcass now. So he's just going to drag it as far away from the mill as possible. He's like, screw you. If I can't have it, you can't either. And it was like, well, where's the cock? It doesn't matter. I'm not going to get it anyway. Dude, Pro Scouts is really boring in a lot of ways in the current meta. But every once in a while, just these type of little gems, I love it. These small details in conjunction with the yoinking, right, where you dive onto TCs. Those type of things I absolutely adore. And it looks like DeMuslim's making his move. Question is, does he try and scale up? He's keeping a longbow production up. He could try to save up now, get into Castle Age, and then upgrade to vet longbows. That's when he gets spooky. My problem is you've given so much time over that, yeah, there it is, Mangonels. I said it's going to be either like an increase in archer count or it's going to be Mangonels. Either way, your longbows could be in trouble. I do like he's bringing the villager up. You need to be using these outposts. It's similar to playing Mongols. If you're not utilizing outposts, you're just finding a new way to lose the game. Also, knights coming out. I was half expecting a switch up into man-at-arms. I have seen a lot more French players building into man-at-arms now. But in fairness, a few knights, even just horsemen. I'd actually prefer just horsemen here. Save the gold, right? Get some more Mangonels, I'd say. Just because, like, why do you need knights? They have more missile resistance, but outside that, like, it's spears and longbows you're up against. And while those spears and longbows have added a few battering rams into the mix now. Here they come. Double Mangonel. If DeMuslim doesn't keep a close eye on this army, it could instantly disappear. And that's why the outpost is important. And also, DeMuslim, now ready for the tech up. It's underway. It's going to be the King's Palace. He's going to be able to scale now. And on the forward front, as long as he keeps the army up long enough and he gets the upgrade, they're going to be scary. More outposts going down as well. Longbow, staggered formation. Need to be careful as they stack again. Mangonel baits his shots on the spearman instead. So that's going to buy some time to pepper the French with arrows here. He's going to back up once more. And did he just... No, he's still got the villagers barely, though. He baited fire into them, so he hasn't even completed the outpost yet. Nice starter step, backs away. Knights are taking a while to get through with their veteran status, but once they're targeted down quickly by a few spearmen, they disappear. And it looks like the villager is going to die, so outpost is going to be a fail. Battering ram is going to be a fail, but Castle Age has now been reached. Question is, what is the move now for DeMuslim? Very slow static force, can at least upgrade them, of course, and is doing so into the vet status. Juices their damage up a decent amount. I think they get +2, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I think it's 7 up to 9. We'll see in a second. I don't think... Yeah, he did get the blacksmith. Okay, so he's getting the second layer of this. No interest in military academy. Doesn't really need it at this stage. Like, the production rate of the longbows is good. And a fight ensuing. In on the outpost, trying to get rid of that attack speed. Remember, it's only about 13-14% for the longbows, but it's still juicing them up a bit. You don't want to give that over. There we go. From 7 up to 9. Oh, man, it feels good when you remember things right. With my goldfish brain, I'm impressed. Plus the extra 10 health as well, so you might be able to tank an additional Mangonel shot. But GUA is ready to gain ground. He understands that he has the advantage. He needs to push it. His opponent just teched up in the castle, which means he would have slowed down the rate at which he was producing units. And you need to exploit that, understanding that your opponent now has a secondary TC and will outscale you if you sit back. You know what? Knight's having some fun at the back. Oh my god! Did he kill? No. No way did this one knight kill 8 villagers. I mean, I see 2 bodies, but there's so many farms. And then, yeah, I think he did. Wow. DeMuslim was already playing catch-up, but that hurts him so much. That could be the moment that decides the game. Slowing down the rate at which you're going to be able to replace your units. But here you go, charge in. You've trapped yourself as well, the way the woodline went. We said about this, the anarchy of the way you chop into trees sometimes can backfire, and it's about to. DeMuslim, there's nowhere for him to run and hide all these villagers. They're just going to die. He pulls them away now. But they're being chased by the archers, by the arbaletiers. The Mangonels pushing back the longbows as well. DeMuslim forfeiting a lot of ground, but there's not much more that he can forfeit over at this rate. More villagers dying, and DeMuslim, I think this game is all but over. How do you repel him? He's got the back racks. He's trying to get the man-at-arms out quickly here. He's going to need him. 7 arbaletiers is good enough for the initial man-at-arms, though. You have to buy more time, and the Mangonels pushing you back further. Shots out. Swipes out a few more. Can never turn around. Knights wrapping around the back, raiding in onto the farmlands again. DeMuslim's going to lose more of the Phillies, and he can't afford to at this stage. He's being doubled up. GUA has over double the count of villagers at this point. Knights are going to fall. More raiding in on the left side. Mangonels, remember, they're good at sieging through buildings. You need to be careful of this, though. They kept them under the King's Palace, so he's taking a lot of damage to the siege weapons. Prioritizing the longbows. The good shot, though. Gets in on them. And now down to about 20 longbows left. And decreasing as he tries to rebuild on the left side. And the farms are on fire. The only good news is they don't set fire to the peasants, but that isn't going to help them against the arrow fire coming their way. And DeMuslim, this game is getting worse by the second for him. GUA taking next to no damage on the Mangonels from the Town Hall. Nice sidestep. Mangonel's shot's about to come in, and if this one hits, DeMuslim's going to be done. He's toast. Dodges the second one, but there's going to be a third, and you know it. And with no army remaining and him in your base refusing to leave, this is close to done. No way to reclaim control. Outscaled on the eco side, down to 22. He's being tripped up. He will call the GG, and GUA will take the victory. Well played with the Mangonels. The patience shown. The forced mistake out of DeMuslim, and understands as soon as he's teched up, he is far too spread thin to be able to replace his units. Gives him the win, and a well played one by him. Well, apparently, DeMuslim is on quite the burner, from what you guys were telling me. What was it? I think someone said 30 wins, 2 losses. So there you go, guys. In one game, I've collectively shown half of DeMuslim's losses. That's an impressive stat. But if you enjoyed what you saw, make sure you subscribe on the YouTube side. Make sure you follow through to additional videos, because there's plenty of content. Thank you, by the way, to Taisha for recommending that one. And thank you to anyone else who makes recommendations. You help me get through these videos quicker. And you're the reason I like doing these videos anyway. I'm been kind of humbled by the support I've had. I mean, some people, they might say it's not thousands upon thousands of views, but considering we started this channel, well, not started the channel, but started uploading regularly on the channel in November, to already being averaging over 600 plus videos, views on each video, I mean, that's kind of baffling. I'm impressed. So thank you for the support. Hopefully you continue to give me some. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow on the Twitch side so you see when I go live, because there's plenty of games that don't even make it across the YouTube side. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.